The guy is a stud.
Question, my goodness, Bryce Huff is a problem.
He gets pressure almost every time he's on the field. It's not just third down.
Offensive coordinators now have to account for this guy. He's that much of a feared weapon.
He wins against left tackles. He wins against right tackles. He wins against centers, guards, on twists and stunts. Anytime there is a single human being responsible for trying to block Bryce Huff, it turns out to be a bad day for the other guy.
All right, Bryce, you grew up in Alabama. What was that like?
It was cool, just growing up with my family and playing ball my whole life. At school, granny around all the time. Yeah, it was cool.
You grew up as a middle child, right? Like you have an older brother, younger sister. What was that like growing up in the middle of them?
It was cool. Just being the middle child, I would always kind of like get blamed for stuff. I'd get in trouble a lot, but it was cool.
Your older brother played football. Do you think he had kind of any influence on you starting to play football?
Yeah, definitely. We both started pretty young, and we grew up in northern Alabama first, and we started playing like full contact football at like 4 years old. And then my brother was always really cold at football, so it kind of made me want to do better and get good.
What was that initial football practice experience like for you? Did you immediately fall in love with it?
Not really. I was just playing. I thought I had to be there almost, like how I felt. But I mean, I don't even remember practice. I just remember going out there on game days. The dudes were like way bigger than me, and just getting pancaked on whatever day we went out there and played.
How has that, do you think, kind of factored into the player you are today? Because you've always been the smaller player.
I feel like it made me a lot tougher, just from a young age, because everybody was so big. And my brother always played up in age groups. I feel like I don't know if I did, I can't remember, but dudes were definitely always bigger than me.
What kind of attitude do you think that made you have on the field?
I just stopped caring about like how big somebody was and just went out there and did my best every time.
Okay, so you originally committed to South Alabama for college, but then you flipped and committed to the University of Memphis. Why did you flip? What made that change?
Just because it was a bigger school, better school. I feel like I had a better opportunity to hit the field just because of how Coach Neville like recruited me and just kind of explained his plan for me at Memphis.
What did he say his plan was for you?
He wanted me to play cat, which is like a 3-4 like outside linebacker, kind of stand up. And I was dropping coverage, but also like rush. So that was really similar to what I did in high school. So I knew I would fit in right away.
So you grew up playing linebacker this whole time?
Yeah, linebacker and like middle, interior D line and stuff.
And then what happens your senior year at college, where you kind of switch to more pass rushing?
Well, I was 3-4 my sophomore and junior year, and then we had a new DC come in, and then I switched to hand in the dirt DN. So that was pretty much the same for me, I feel like.
What was that change with the new defensive coordinator? What kind of flipped for you? Because you took off your senior year.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I just really honed into my pass rush, and that was really a focal point for me, just getting better in that aspect of my game.
Do you feel like you had a moment in college, in high school, growing up, where you felt like you could actually take your game to the next level?
I feel like my junior year in college, just because like I was making a lot more plays, and I felt like I was more explosive than I've been at any other point in my career. Just I guess from weight room, like at Memphis we had Coach Storms, and I feel like from sophomore to junior year I made a big jump with him and his team in Memphis.
Okay, so you lead a lot of your team in different stats your senior year, in tackles for loss yardage, sacks, QB hurries, all of that. What happens when it's draft time?
I honestly don't know. I know my agent at the time was telling me like you could get picked up sometime on day 3, and then on draft day, well, day 3, everything started winding down. Like the bottom 4 or 5 rounds, the bottom like 4th and 5th rounds came along, and then a coach here at the Jets called me. He was like, just letting you know, if you don't get picked up in the draft, we're gonna try to sign you undrafted. And so at that point, they like traded the rest of the picks away. And then my agent was like, yeah, you're most likely gonna be undrafted. So at that point, I was kind of upset about it, but I knew like I had work to do, so I just was ready to go to work.
What did that feel like, that feeling of the draft ending and your name not being called, and you're undrafted now?
I was kind of stressed out, but at the same time, I knew like I was gonna make something happen.
I know you grew up going to a pastor who was really dedicated and stressed the importance of positive self-talk and the power of words. In that moment, what were you telling yourself?
In that moment, I was kind of blanked out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went to this like open area in my old neighborhood. They were like developing houses, and I just sat on this dirt mound, just looking at the trees for like a couple of hours, just zoned out, honestly.
Do you find that you're a deep thinker in those kinds of moments?
Yeah, definitely.
How does that help you?
I kind of like think myself into like motivation. Like, I just think like at the time I've been playing football since I was 4. I was like 21 when I got signed here, so how many years that is, I don't even know. But yeah, that's a long time to be playing ball. So I feel like if I've invested that much time into ball, I have to gain something from it. I can't just lay down here and just stop going.
You have a tweet pinned to the top of your Twitter from February 1st of 2020, and it says, "Combine invite or not, they're going to feel me. It's just a matter of time. I worked too hard for this." Was that exactly what you were feeling that moment?
Yeah, I always knew like whether I was gonna get drafted or not that I was gonna make something shake. Just cause like coming from like I was really undersized coming out of high school, and then at Memphis, it being like a group of 5 school, nobody really took me seriously, and yeah, I just knew that like I was gonna keep getting better. So when I got here and got around the guys here, like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just keep learning from everybody and just keep finding ways to improve. And then, yeah.
What were your first impressions when you got here as an undrafted rookie?
I mean, I came in COVID year, so I met everybody outside of the facility. Like we were like doing workouts and stuff, and I kind of saw how everybody was working. And Steve McClendon was a huge impact. Well, he's a huge inspiration for me when I came in, because we were working like 3 times a day before we even reported. So I was like, yeah, there's a lot of hard workers in the league, and if this was, because he was in like year whatever, like 10 plus. So I was like, if he's lasted in the league this long, I got to do what he's doing to stick around. So
What's the biggest lesson you picked up from him?
I don't even know, just grind.
Yeah.
That's really all it was, just like pure work.
What about your D-line coach, Aaron Whitecotton? What has he helped you accomplish?
A lot. You know, coming in, I knew like with the new staff, I was gonna have to prove myself over again, and I took notice of how he came to practice every day, how he showed up to work every day. He's always the same person, whether it's individual drill, team, or we're going through stuff in meetings. He's the same guy every day. So I feel like if I apply that same mindset to my work ethic and my process, just being the same dude every day and continuing to find just in my game every day, I can be successful.
These last 2 years, your career has really started to take off. Do you credit that success to him, or do you credit that success to something else?
I feel like it's a culmination of things. Him, especially being my coach and being the main one impacting me every day, and then, you know, the guys in the room, like, we have a lot of great players in the D-line room. We got Q, JFM, Carl, and everybody, like Jermaine, Will. Like, I've learned stuff from everybody, no matter if they're older or younger than me. And yeah, I really don't think I'd be performing the way I am now if it wasn't for everybody in the room.
What do you feel like made this switch flip for you and you just start to become that much more disruptive?
I feel like it's, I don't even know. I feel like just the process, just trusting the process, and I feel like I've just turned a new leaf as far as getting home and continuing to just be consistent, because like that's really what everybody was always telling me these last couple of years. Consistency is the truest measure of performance. So like we consistently gotten better as a whole, and I feel like that's translated to game day.
Okay, so speaking of game day, I have to ask, the sack dance, where did it come from? How did you come up with it?
I feel like, well, it's really just me and Sally just messing around in the weight room.
Yeah.
Just because we always like kind of like jig around, like doing random dances. Yeah. And I did that one a lot, and then like he was like, this should be your sack dance. And he was begging me to hit it all year last year, and I never did because I was always so hyped. But this year in the Denver game, I got the sack, and then I was just hyped, and then he reminded me to hit the dance, and I did it afterwards, and then I've just been trying to continue to do it.
I think everyone loves it. Okay, I'm gonna show you this video. This is everyone around the office trying to imitate your dance.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Oh man.
I don't think they're doing it as well as you.
There's some of them getting it a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. That was not. This one was not that good.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, man.
So not only do you have Jets fans out here supporting you and telling people to pay you, but you have everyone trying to imitate your sack dance. What does it feel like this year with all of this attention?
It's been great, like having all the supporters. It means a lot, definitely. Because I feel like not too many people knew who I was a couple years ago, but yeah, it feels good now being embraced by everybody.
And someone like J.J. Watt shouting you out on the Pat McAfee show.
I love Bryce Huff. You know, I think there's a lot of names on that defense. I think there's a lot of guys that can play a lot of great football. I think Bryce Huff coming off the edge, he's got some great pass rush moves. He's got some incredible technical skills. And I know right now he's got a ton of pressures and maybe not the biggest sack numbers, but that's a guy that's been getting back there and making a lot of things happen and maybe not getting as much shine as he deserves comparative to the rest of the guys.
What was that like from a future Hall of Famer?
Yeah, that was crazy. I was just getting out the sauna when people were like tagging me on Twitter, and I looked at it and my jaw just dropped, and I was just shocked for like however long. But then, yeah, that was crazy.
And have you heard the Bugatti nickname from Brian Baldinger of NFL Network?
Yeah.
What do you like about that one?
I mean, that's cool, but he calls me that also, but people have been calling me that for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, since like college, and he really like made it, like everybody knows it now because of him. But like back in the day, I was a big Alabama fan. And they had Reuben Foster, they called him Ferrari Foster. Then they had Mac Wilson, they called him Maserati Mac. So I was like, they can call me Bugatti Bryce, right? So I made that my gamer tag on Xbox, and then my guys at college started calling me that. Yeah. And then I changed it to my Instagram name, and then it just kind of stuck.
And it stuck with you ever since. Okay, I have one last one for you. You lead the league in pressure rate with 27.1%. That makes you on pace to be the first player in the next gen stats era to lead the NFL in pressure rate in consecutive seasons. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It shows that I've been consistently getting after the QB, and yeah, it's cool. It's a cool stat, but I'm really just focusing on like I want to get home at the end of the day. Like pressures impact the game, but I really like the goal is to get to the QB, get the ball off him and stuff like that. So that's really where my mind is going.
Do you have any other goals for this year?
I definitely want to hit 10 sacks this year. Definitely.
When do you think you're gonna hit that one?
Whenever God sees fit. I mean, because like sacks are weird. Like you can win a rep, but like the quarterback can throw it, or he can run out of the pocket, so you really don't have full control over that. But yeah, hopefully it's soon.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Bryce.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.